Just a short self. I'm an attorney. I was admitted in 1996. My original practice was focused on criminal law. After practicing criminal defense for a number of years, I got sucked into the special ed arena due to a case up here that I frequently refer to as Jesse the Mad Bomber. Jesse was a student in high school who had a learning disability, and on her IEP it said that rather than disrupt class, you're directed to write your frustrations down on paper so that you're not disruptive to the rest of the class. So while she engaged in this and passed the note back and forth about how much she hated this place and wanted to blow it up to Louie, the other frustrated kid in class, the note ends with, "Let's go home and use my brother's PlayStation after school." But she goes home, and this was shortly after 9/11, and she tells her mom, "I was just joking around, but maybe Louie wasn't joking around. We should let the school know so they can question Louie, see if he was of the same mindset that I was." Well, they did question Louie when they had both children arrested for this. The case got a lot of publicity because of 9/11. There was an individual down in New York City who flew up to Niagara County, which is near Niagara Falls, about an 8-hour drive. He flew up and bailed her out because he was so outraged that she was incarcerated pending her trial on this. And that added to the publicity. We had a trial. Jesse was acquitted. But that case brought some parent advocates into my office saying, "Andy, there's not enough lawyers doing special education law, and we need representation for some parents." And they brought about 5 into my office. These parents explained their problems to me, and my response was, "I don't believe this is happening." Sure enough, though, it was happening. We had due process hearings on all of those cases and prevailed on all of those cases. And since then, it just took over my practice, and now special ed is all I do, and I can tell you that I don't miss doing criminal defense work at all. Prior to becoming a lawyer, I was in the Marine Corps. I went to Holy Cross College in Massachusetts. I was on a Navy ROTC scholarship, so I was commissioned in the Marine Corps out of college. I went to Quantico, Virginia for my training. I was honored to serve with the lead Marines in the Gulf War and in Somalia, and I got out and went to law school. While I was in law school, I worked as a private investigator. My first 2 years after law school and after being admitted as a lawyer, I managed the office of a private investigating firm, which one of the reasons I did that was because at the time I was not sure that I even wanted to practice law. Hearing some of the stories and the difficulties that the legal system poses to lawyers. But once I did start practicing law, I grew to love it, and I do love it. And this is a great area of practice for anybody who wants to get into it. Parent advocates that brought the work to me. Here is a chapter from John that I'm going to ask you all to reflect upon as I'm going through this. As he walked along, he saw a man who had been blind since birth. "Rabbi," his disciples asked, "is it for his sins or the sins of his parents that he was born blind?" "Neither," Jesus answered, "but rather so that the glory of God could be seen through him." In my first familiarity with this passage, I had a completely different perception of what it meant. And it was not until I started practicing special ed that I grew to a further understanding of what this means. And I'll get into this later as I go on, but I just wanted to bring it up early so that you can be reflecting on it as we go forward. Special education is a very adversarial arena. It is, in all the areas of law that I've practiced, the most adversarial. And when I try to explain this to people who are not familiar with special education law, they don't understand why it would be adversarial, because the focus of the entire effort is supposed to be on the needs of a child. And believe it or not, that is not often the focus of everybody's efforts. Parents, these are the things that are contributing to this adversarial arena. Parents are always looking for